It's finally quiet enough in my house so I can make this video that I've been procrastinating to do for about 2 weeks. Um, so we're here to talk about barefoot shoes, and let me just get right into it. So one of the coolest things about barefoot shoes that I've experienced is that whenever you're walking in them, or especially when you're running with them, you are working out your foot muscles. They're working exactly as they were supposed to, as they were intended to work. Now, I want you to take a look at the picture of the feet of a businessman. I think it's from the start of the 20th century. A businessman who wore those classical business shoes for his whole life, and a barefoot runner. Now, there's a big difference, right? The feet of the businessman look deformed, weak, and tight, whereas the feet of the barefoot runner look wide, thick, and really freaking strong. Our bodies are highly adaptable to their environment and will change according to it. Now imagine if you put your feet in shoes, especially those business shoes, but also any type of modern shoes, they act as either casts or crutches. Our feet don't get the opportunity to work as they were supposed to. They are kept inactive, and as a result, they become deformed, they become weak, and they don't function as a good support for our bodies anymore. Now, why should you care whether your feet look like those of a businessman or the feet of a barefoot runner, or if they're strong or not? Well, for me personally, I want my feet and all other body parts to function as nature or God or universe or whatever name you want to call it intended it, right? I want to be as natural as possible and as close to nature as possible. Now, that includes my body, the food I eat, the clothes I wear, and the general lifestyle I lead. Now, I mean, obviously, I'm not perfect, and I'm nowhere near leading the natural life I've set as a goal for myself, but with every small choice, big or small, with every choice, big or small, I try to make the choice that brings me closer to that goal that I've set for myself. Thus, barefoot shoes. Right? Now, as I said, barefoot shoes are... Someone's playing the piano. I thought it was gonna be quiet, but whatever. Let's push through. Now, as I said, barefoot shoes work out your foot muscles every time you walk in them and run in them, especially when you run in them. And all the muscles in our body are connected. So if you think about it, and it is that way, when a certain group of muscles isn't working properly, is too tight or too weak and relaxed, then all the other muscles around them, that group of muscles or that muscle will either tighten up or loosen up so that the body can stay balanced. And that creates a chain reaction which will affect the whole body. Now let me give you an example. When a person has flat feet, which there are many causes for, genetic or lifestyle, whatever, it doesn't matter. When a person has flat feet, their knees will move or turn inward, then their hips will turn inward, and that will cause the pelvis to tilt forwards, and that can create all types of issues with the lower back, right? But the main cause here is the foot, which is all the way down or very far from the back. But that's just one example of many how one group of muscles can affect the whole body. What I'm trying to say is when you start using barefoot shoes, your feet will gradually become stronger, wider, and more versatile. Their shape will change, and I'm speaking from experience here. And they will become like a much better support for your body, and that will create a positive chain reaction in your body and make it more balanced and more aligned. On a side note though, since I was talking about running in the barefoot shoes, the way you run in barefoot shoes is actually quite different to the way to the way normal people are used to running. So if you do want to start running with them, you should research how to first. I really wish that I had pictures of my feet before I started using the barefoot shoes, because the changes I experienced were quite drastic. As I said, my feet got wider. They got stronger. There's much more space in between my fingers, and the arches got even. Yeah, the arch on my left foot was always more flat for some reason. Well, generally the left side of my body was always weaker than my right side, but when I started using the barefoot shoes, and this was not a sudden change, right? It was over time. I think like 2 or 3 years since I've started using the barefoot shoes. And slowly but surely the arches got even. They're not perfectly even yet, but they're getting there. And also I've experienced the left side of my body generally getting stronger as well. Now, that also has to do with the fact that I started doing yoga pretty much every day, and with the fact that I've been seeing a psychologist for quite some time. And it might come as a surprise to most people, but therapy with a psychologist also affects your body drastically. But more of that on other videos if there will be an interest in that. My point is that although it's not the answer to all your troubles, coupled with other healing modalities like yoga, like therapy, or like training or anything else, it's an amazing tool to strengthen your feet, balance your body, and make your life better. In my opinion, it's all the seemingly small lifestyle change that lead to the greatest and long lasting positive change in your life. I consider myself a very active person. I've been doing sports, various kind of sports, for my whole life. I love sports. I love playing sports. I love doing sports. I love movement in general. And it is my strong belief that power, agility, and speed comes from being able to utilize as much of your body as you can in any given movement, right? So the more of your body, the more of your muscles, the more of your energy is involved in the movement, the more power and speed you'll be able to exert. And following this logic, the stronger your feet are, the more sensitive you are to your feet, the more you can feel your feet, the more of your body you can use in a movement. Thus, the more power and speed you will be able to generate. And I think that's very cool. For example, boxing, right? When you punch, your whole body is involved. Your feet are also involved, as you can see in the video. And the more torque, the more you can like lean onto your feet, the more power you'll be able to move upwards into the punch. And that's just one example of like thousands, I think. Now, one other very cool benefit that I've experienced with barefoot shoes is that whenever I walk, they're able to keep me grounded in this reality or in this moment, so to speak. Let me explain. Barefoot shoes are made to reproduce the feeling of being barefoot as closely as possible, obviously. So that means the soles of the shoes are very thin. My Vivos, for example, their soles are only 3 millimeters long, wide. You get it. And every time I walk in them, I feel the ground under me. This adds a sensory input into my psyche that I've never experienced before. I feel my feet every time I walk. I am grounded every time I walk. Now, the result of this added sensory input is an expanded awareness of your feet and your whole body at the same time, right? You are becoming more sensitive to feeling your body, and this will undoubtedly put you into the present moment. Now, let me give you an example of the things I do to keep myself aware and not to get lost in my, thought patterns. Whenever I'm walking, I try to really feel my feet. I try to feel every muscle that's involved in walking. I try to make my steps as graceful as I can, like that of a cat. And the reason I say that by becoming more aware of your feet, you become more aware of your body, is because most people live in their head, right? So whenever you're doing a mundane activity like walking, you're constantly thinking, you're thinking about other stuff, and you're not noticing your body. So if you consciously pay attention to your feet, that's like connecting your head to your feet, which means you will start to feel your whole body, right? At first it will be just your feet. At first maybe you'll be losing your attention, but slowly, gradually, as time went by, this expanded awareness that I was experiencing in my feet expanded into my whole body. And I didn't just start making, or I didn't just try to make my step as graceful as I could. I tried to move my body as gracefully as I could. And that's really, really, really fun, because you can improve it, I think, infinitely. It's sort of become like a game that I play with myself every time that I walk, and it's just so freaking fun. I don't even know how to explain it any other way. I feel like a ninja that's gracefully walking, not making any sounds, because like every movement is in control. And if you are a person who does a lot of sports, who's into movement, that will help you, because the more aware you are of your body, the better you can move, right? It's like a cheat code. It's like a, like this little thing that you do every day, and it's just gradually making you more sensitive to your body. I hope I explained that correctly, because I think it's, well, at least for me, it's like a very important thing that I do. And you can use that logic or that way of thinking to do other things, right? Like another example, I'm really into martial arts, and for martial arts, it's really important to have good balance. So, whenever I'm in a bus or a train, I don't sit, I stand, and I try to balance my body without grabbing onto anything, right? So it's like you're training while you're not training. You're putting more time into your training than any other person, right? And I just think that's like a really cool thing. And the last benefit, which I think is pretty cool, which is not physical, is that you can use it to put you into a better mood or raise your vibration, if you know what I mean. Like, because I know all the physical benefits that the barefoot shoes give me, every time I wear them and every time I walk, it's like an automatic affirmation, like, oh, I'm doing something good for my body. And that immediately puts me in a very good mood. And I enjoy walking, not just because it like feels good, but it's also because I'm constantly affirming to myself that I'm doing something positive for my body. Now, that was it for the benefits of wearing barefoot shoes. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.